All right. Well, it's Terminello's take, and with me is special guest Ryan Pagano, PAG's perspective. All right,
Hey,
WBC is
Pags, how are
well.
you?
WBC is over. Now we can focus on March Madness. The madness of the month is here. 64 teams, a few locals, including, of course, St. John's, Hofstra, LIU, Siena today. Also, I mean, a lot of locals in the tournament. But let's start there. Round of 64. My pick at the beginning of it is Duke all the way. Is that a far off pick, you guys, or what? I mean, I know you picked Duke as well.
Yeah, not terribly. I mean, I had them, and I'll just spoil my championship bracket here, if I may. Duke over Michigan, two absolute titans in their respective sides of the bracket. Now, this is kind of a big if for Duke because it really depends, Alex, on whether or not they're able to get healthy. I'm operating on the assumption that they will. And, I mean, if they can go into the national championship healthy as can be, it is theirs to lose. No question about it. That said, I know we were just talking a little bit pre-show before this, Alex, about Michigan's chances.
Yeah.
And if Duke's dealing with a lot of injuries on their end, don't be surprised if the Wolverines are making a run at the Natty.
And they have one of the best chances, I think, to make a run. What about you, Louis?
So, Duke and Michigan, and it seems like the consensus, even though there really is a consensus, is like 12 to 14 teams that can win. Duke and Michigan, I am not fans of either. Obviously, Michigan, I go back to April 3rd, 1989.
Right.
On that controversial call at the end of the overtime with Seton Hall leading by a point. Michigan's done he's a terrific coach. May's a terrific coach, and he's done a great job. Shire's done a great job with Duke. Duke has arguably the best player in the country in Boozer, who might be, you never know, we might be seeing Boozer next year on a nightly basis in Brooklyn. As the Nets are as all these NBA teams are just tanking to an embarrassment level. But that's for another story that we'll get to maybe today.
That'll be a huge story at that.
Yeah. So Duke, Arizona. I think St. John's has a chance because the one thing Pitino is going to tell them, and I think St. John's got screwed. You tell me. You win. What did they end up? 17-1 in their last 18 games, or 18-1?
Yeah.
Yep.
Before analytics, it was always how you performed in your last 10, 12 games which helped you got seeded. Well, they were 18-1 or 17-1. They won the regular season in Big East. They
beat UConn twice.
They beat UConn 2 out of 3. I mean,
2 times.
And they send them out to San Diego. UConn gets the 2 seed. I do not believe UConn is between a 5 and an 8.
And I was telling you guys, I remember early on, they were losing some games. And then the whole thing was, the non-conference was weaker for St. John's.
Yes.
They had a weaker non-conference. But also, I remember UConn losing some games in tournament play back in the beginning of the year. I mean, it wasn't a pretty start for them. So
St. John's got screwed. They did.
And look, I'm not going to get personal here, but I do think character-wise, Pitino's got character. I'm losing a little respect for Hurley. I hate to say it as I go along because he doesn't have much of a character sometimes on the court.
Well, his courtside demeanor might be the worst since the heyday of Bobby Knight. His courtside demeanor during games. He is a fantastic basketball coach. I mean,
he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, his abilities are never going to be denied.
Yeah,
but
you
wonder what it was that led UConn to be, seeded better. I don't understand it. I don't even really accept the narrative.
2 and a 5. You're right, Alex. The gap is what is just stunning to me. And there's a couple of others. I mean, I think Arkansas, you win the Southeast Conference Championship. You get a 4 seed. I thought they would get a 3.
Other than that team, and this shows a shout out to Jonna Pearl from Nebraska. Look, Nebraska's got a great chance too. They have had a solid season all around. They could make a surprise run here too. So
they've never won an NCAA game. Wow. They never. I saw them lose to Penn in a first round game back in probably Ryan wasn't even born yet. I don't think 2001.
Yeah, a little bit before that.
They lost to Penn that year in the first round. So they have never won an NCAA game. Hoiberg's a great coach. I mean, he really is. And again, the tournament is about players. You have to have the players to win, but the tournament is about coaches. It's always been that way. College basketball has been about coaches. I mean, we've seen it. St. John's pre-Patino. We know we carried their games for all those years. Syracuse post-Boeheim.
What a mess that's been.
Yeah. And
that's why Shire's so interesting, because everybody thought, well, after Coach K, they're going to fall apart. Shire's really kept that program together since he took over.
No doubt about it.
Some way.
If they always say you don't want to be the guy who succeeds the Hall of Famer, the iconic coach. You want to be the second guy. Well, Shire is just proving that formula because he's doing the guy's doing a great job. Yes, Duke's revenues are off the charts. But he's done a hell of a job. He really has.
I want to stay in the ACC, though. I feel like the ACC in general is not a strong conference. How do they make it a stronger conference? It seems like there's only a few teams and the rest are bottom of the barrel, and I hate to say it that way, but that's what it seems like.
I mean, that's the truth right there.
It is. It's the truth right now. And remember, up until 12, 15 years ago, it was the conference. And when I was your age and Ryan's age, there was no other conference but the ACC. But you're right. I think the Big 12, the SEC are the the Big 10, the Big 12, and the SEC. They're the strong conferences. The Big 12 is like off the charts. Great.
And we're not doing any LED courts this round of 64, right? That was only one thing.
Yeah,
Big 12 trying that court.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird to me, actually.
Yeah, 12 tried that fiberglass court, which I guess they use in Europe. And I
heard it was slippery for the guys, wasn't it?
Yes, I heard it was slippery.
You're not going to get the same traction on a glass court as opposed to just your typical parquet hardwood floors or anything like that. And I mean, especially for these college stars, like you need that traction on the floor one way or another. I mean, why else are they wiping their shoes and that sticky stuff on the sideline?
It was insane.
Right before they check in.
Apparently, Commissioner Yormark of the Big 12 heard that one of the other conferences was going to use a fiberglass court, and he wanted to be the first one.
Well, it sounds about right, though, considering that, Lou, just to get off topic for 5 seconds here, it's so on brand for Brett Yormark, considering he was the same guy who told Islander fans 10 years ago that, you could just watch the game on your phone.
On your phone.
Well,
I'm so fired up about that even 10 years after the fact.
Well, I know him very well.
I know you're friends with him.
I know him very well. I mean, we were friends. We're not enemies now, but I've lost contact with him.
And they did business with us at the station for a while. So.
Yeah. No, he's a very innovative guy, and they had to change the court. One of my friends said to me that one All-Star weekend, an All-Star Saturday, they used it 4 or 5 years ago. I don't remember. I can't remember because I really don't focus in on All-Star weekend anymore. I don't. But the tournament should be good. I'll watch it. I'm a little disappointed, because of the NIL and the way they pay the players since NIL started, I guess, in 21, 22. And I am pro NIL. Players should get money, but it needs to be controlled better.
It needs to be tightened up big time because
it needs to be tightened up big time. You're right, Alex. But 40% of those great what makes the first weekend great, those upsets, they're gone. They're gone. And Lehigh,
which you had called a couple of years ago. You remember you were one of the first to say that that's not going to happen anymore. So
we'll see. Bucknell beating Kansas.
How about St. Peter's?
St. Peter's, my alma mater, Fairleigh Dickinson.
Yeah,
UNBC beating Virginia when they were the 16-1. That's what makes the tournament great, and we're getting away from that, which is disappointing. So,
Well, I would love to see some lower seeds win. McNeese always finds a way in this tournament. It's
well,
amazing to me.
they can score.
And they might beat Vandy today. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, well, Vandy can score too.
Oh, yeah. Vandy, they're very well balanced in and of itself. And I really wanted to drink the McNeese Kool-Aid and say, oh, yeah, they're just going to upset again. No problem. I mean, they got Amir Ora Khan leading the team out onto the court for March Madness. What better way to, cause chaos than just picking McNeese in any of your brackets? But, Vandy can score. They're a well-balanced, well-oiled machine, and they're going to do well.
So are you guys saying the bracket busting might be a little less than it has been in years prior?
I think so. Remember last year, 4 number ones got to the Final Four, which was very, very unusual. I mean, we've had years where we've had 11 seeds going, and somebody was saying, and I forgot who I was listening to, he thinks that there's a good chance there'll be chalk again to the Final Four.
Do you know Rod Strickland? He's coaching LIU. Did you ever interact with him over the years? Or?
Well, I mean, he played against the Nets when I was with the Nets. He was never an assistant coach when I was there, but he's done a good job with LIU. And I'm going to be honest with you, when Rod Strickland was a player, and he was a great player at DePaul, and I never figured that he would be an outstanding coach. He just didn't seem like coach type material, but he's done a great job for LIU.
Right, well,
as does Speedy Claxton, who was a great player, and he was an excellent player in the NBA, is with Hofstra. Now, he was on, I heard a little bit of an interview today. He's very confident about this game against Alabama, and I think Alabama's in turmoil. They're in turmoil.
Oh, yes, with the arrest happening and all that. But beyond that, I mean, you lose to a 15 seed in the SEC tournament, and Ole Miss is nothing to joke about, by the way. I actually think that program's good. But you're the number 2 seed. You lose to 15. That before even this other off-the-court stuff happens, led me to believe Hofstra might beat Alabama. Like, I believe that could happen.
Ryan, Coach Claxton in the interview this morning was praising the guards, the Hofstra guards, and he's not afraid. He's not afraid that they're going up against an SEC school. So I hope there's an upset. It makes it fun.
It really does.
Exactly. I mean, that's what March is all about.
That's what it's all about.
It's all about the chaos. It's all about the upsets. And what better way to have March, at least for me, and I will gladly be biased being that Hofstra is my alma mater.
Yes.
But I see Hofstra coming out on top here. I mean, they have not had a lot of distractions, unlike Bama, in the week or so leading up to the game. And they have proven, especially in the CAA tournament, that they could show up when it matters. I mean, Preston Edmeade, freshman, becoming a Hempstead hero, sending Hofstra to the CAA championship with that last second shot against Towson, 0.3 of a second to go, and then showing up for the CAA championship, beating Monmouth and avenging the 2020 Demons when last time they won the CAA championship, should have been playing in March Madness. Obviously, that did not happen because of the real world circumstances that took place in 2020. But first time in 25 years that this program is going to be dancing in March, and I don't think they'll disappoint.
And Ryan knows
what's going on the opposition side.
Ryan knows my connection and how I know Rick Cole, the AD over there. So Rick Cole used to coach volleyball for Dowling College many years ago, and he almost forgot his playbook. I was announcing Queens at the time. I'm the guy that gave him his playbook back after the game. I'm like, here's your book, coach. And now all of a sudden,
did you hire on him for during the game?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's an AD, and look how he's turned around a lot of hops. And look at the talent he's got coaching. You got Frank Catalano coaching baseball still, right? Now you got Speedy Claxton. I mean, he's really turned around all those programs at Hofstra. So I'm very happy for him, and I'm hoping a lot of success for Hofstra. So
yeah, gotta hope for the best.
Guard that you were just talking about. He was asked. Coach Claxton was asked, "Are you going to be able to keep him?" And Coach Claxton was very confident that he was going to be able to keep him.
Well, I think look, in the transfer portal, you don't know anymore. That's the other problem with the NIL. The transfer portal has changed everything. The NIL has changed that too.
Yeah, the transfer portal's college free agents.
And Lou and I, it's so funny. Lou and I were like, who won last year? Because all these things are always switching. You can't. I used to know every title that was won down
You
the
remember
line.
every team that played in the Eastern Regionals, in the regional finals. Now
Yep.
you got to scratch your head and say, "Oh, that's right, Florida won last year." It's not.
Right.
It's not top of mind.
Although Houston's run was pretty special, and I had someone from Houston during that Final Four weekend. But
Yes.
it was Florida's time, I guess. So we'll have to see what happens.
And they're going to be right up there again. There's a chance that they could go back to back. And again, I hate to keep pounding and praising the coaches, but Todd Golden's an excellent basketball coach. So it should be a good, well, especially these first 2 days where you're watching, you just
now. Do you think these lower I mean, look, if you're Kansas, if you're so and so, you want to advance, but losing is not going to like hurt your chances of getting a recruit because, oh my God, the name brand. But for these other schools, that's, oh my God, they have an upset. I want to join that team. Do you find that happen sometimes, Louis? Like you see a team get upset, I want to be on that team next year. Does that ever happen?
Well, it happens, but what really helps them is student admissions for non-athletes. Their admissions go up. People wanting to attend that school, and that's
Miami,
historical.
Ohio. I remember Miami, Ohio only had one loss, and that was in the tournament last week. But did you see the area? I mean, the bars were jumping. They were like throwing beer cans at each other. They had a lot of fun last night.
I watched the game last night
over there too. I mean, you even see the scenes with Jack Hughes and the Golden Goal. I mean, they were holding watch parties over the Miami of Ohio college bars, and it was the same stuff then too. I mean, people just throwing their drinks and all that. Just a chaotic but fun celebration all around. But
by the way,
I just don't get this bias against Miami of Ohio, though. I mean,
well, they were very impressive last night.
Until the tournament, as you were saying, Alex, just last week. And they're only a first four team. They're only an 11th seed.
Which I kind of called. I was at a restaurant the other day. I said, they're going to be a first four because of the way they're talking about them.
Right.
But, I don't understand. They go undefeated the whole season, and one loss affects it all. I don't. Because they're not a name brand. Is that what it is? I mean,
you have Bruce Pearl too, being one of the main ones banging the table against Miami of Ohio too. I mean, going on the CBS Sports sets to just completely discredit
Bruce
an
Pearl,
undefeated season.
We all know how eccentric Bruce Pearl was a coach, but as an analyst, I never knew how he'd score that gig because he was so off. He was so off the wall in interviews as a coach. I'm like, no way he could become an analyst, but here he is. So
well, and again, getting back to what Ryan was saying about him bashing like Miami of Ohio, and Auburn, which is now coached by his son, was allegedly one of the first four out, and he said even after that he said, I thought that, Auburn should have gotten in. So again,
you got to love a Nepo baby. What can you say?
Yeah. No, and again, you're not going to go against your kid. I understand.
Well, you heard what Pitino said in the press conference after they won. Because I think someone said, do you wish the Big East would be better or something like that? It's like, this has happened. And my kid's got to recruit greater basketball players. I'm like, that's such a dig, but I
that is such a Rick Pitino thing to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was saying it tongue in cheek too, just giving his son a little jazz and
By the way,
of
all those games they won, those are the two toughest games. I mean, maybe it's because of son versus father, but Xavier held them down pretty well.
They had a chance to win both of those games in the regular season. They did.
And of course, he won 900 against his son, which was very interesting to watch also. But so we'll see. Now, you know about the hardwood, and I'm thinking about the classic hardwood in the Boston Garden, because to switch topics real quick.
Yeah, the parquet floor.
Yeah, the parquet floor. And I'm like, Jason Tatum's back. Now, I want to switch gears for a second. 10 months out, and he looks like he's back, like playing regular season form. What a recovery. Is this technology? Is this science? Like, how did he get to healthy so fast?
I guess Dr. Martin O'Malley, Dr. Martin O'Malley at Hospitals for Special Surgery did his surgery. He did the same surgery that they did on Aaron Rodgers, that speeds up recovery. And apparently, I guess that helps speed up recovery.
But he got like a triple-double, I think, or something like that in his first couple games in. I'm like, this is impressive.
Yeah, really he looks like coming back with a bang and really having the Mamba mentality, especially because he talks a lot about the late, great Kobe Bryant. And I mean, Kobe, he tore his Achilles. I believe in very late in the 12-13 season. I believe it only took him like 8 months or something like that to come back to the court afterwards. So, I mean, he's really having that Mamba mentality in more ways than one. But I also, to break apart from the Kobe talk, it really also goes to show just how advanced sports medicine has become now. You know, seeing Tatum return to the court after all this time. And I mean, no disrespect to Tyrese Halliburton, of course, but you see him tear his Achilles in Game 7 of the finals. And, you know, I have my own thoughts about him ending the Knicks season last year. But
the way he made that shot was so unbelievable. How that shot
But then the fact that he's sitting out he can't even come back for the entire 25-26 season. Not that the Pacers are really in a great spot themselves, but still the fact he's not even playing regular season ball. I mean, that's just wild in and of itself.
My friend went to the Pacers game the other night. She's a huge Knicks fan. She went out to the game.
I hope she didn't pay for it. I hope somebody gave her the tickets.
She's like, yeah, well, no, she got invited, but she's like, they didn't even play Brunson. And I'm like, I get it. I get
load management.
I get Indiana stinks this year, right? And I get their lower team. But if I'm the Knicks, I want to get my frustration out on that team for what they did to us last year.
Like, but none of those guys who were playing the other night were part of the Pacers beating them last year. Most of those guys, all the key guys.
They have completely switched out that core entirely.
And by the way, we might have a game changer. As much March Madness, college ball right now, the focus is what do the Pistons do? Cade Cunningham out extended period of time with a collapsed lung.
Your guy.
That might change the dynamic of the Eastern Conference, right?
No doubt about it. I mean, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure about the Pistons even before the injury today because they don't have a second scoring option. Now without Cunningham, they don't have a first scoring option. And they're still inexperienced. Remember, 2 years ago, they were 14-68. So this is not like a juggernaut. This is still
and they gave the Knicks a bit of a challenge last year, but if the Knicks did.
They did.
If the Knicks didn't win that series, Thibodeau would have been fired regardless, I think. But anyway,
at least they had chances to win that series. And, of course, there's that call at the end of –
Here we go.
Well, there was that – I mean, they blew that call. I mean, it was – let's face it. And I'm not saying that the Pistons would have won that series, but they had a chance. They would have been up 3-2. You know, they would have, you know, but that's water under the bridge. But I don't think if the Pistons were playing the Knicks in a playoff series, even at full strength, I'm favoring the Knicks.
Yeah, but how did they beat them like 4 times, I think it was this year?
In the regular season, too. I mean, the way that all those regular season matchups went. And, Lou, that had me convinced that the Pistons were going to the finals. If they could take down a finals favorite like the Knicks, the Knicks.
In 1993-94, we played the Knicks in the first round of the playoffs. During the regular season, we whipped their ass 4 out of 5. We lost the best of 5 series. It was still best of 5 the first round. We lost 3-1. The Knicks went to the finals. We went home. And in 2025-26, with the unwatchable product that the NBA is putting out there, look at what the Nets put out last night, the players they put out last night, and they have been putting out what Sacramento's been putting out. You can go right down the line.
Even
you cannot.
Indiana.
Well, and I'll get to Indiana in a second. This bad year is really beneficial to them because they're going to get Halliburton back next year, and they're going to get a pick in the top 6 or 7. They might even have Carlos Boozer or Basanta of BYU on their team. I mean, so a horrible year, but they go from the 7th game last year to a horrible year. They might get the first or second pick, and then next year they'll be an Eastern Conference contender again. Remember, they're coached by a great coach also. Carlisle's a great coach.
All the championship pedigree.
Yeah.
And I mean, what he's been able to make out of less.
Yeah.
I mean, that stuff does not go unnoticed.
No doubt about it. But the NBA, my God, these 10 tees that, you got 8 or 10 teams that are playing to lose.
And then you have these games in triple digits. It's like every game they're scoring over 100 now.
Well, here, I made a note. Where the heck is it?
I'd be upset. Wow.
Yusuf Norik of the starting center for the Utah Jazz. He has some kind of nose issue that he was going to have taken care of with surgery at the end of the year when the season was over. But you want to know something? That Jazz, who have been fined by the NBA for sitting guys,
they've been called out publicly.
Right.
Before.
So Norwich is out for the rest of the season. He's going to miss. It'll be the last 2 months of the year because they're going to do the nose surgery now. You know why? Because he has a lot of things going on during the summer. Are you kidding me? What has he got going on? Vacation? Even if he's getting married. That's the state of the... This is not the NBA I was in for 28 years, guys. I'm telling you.
Well,
and, they talk about expansion.
Yeah.
Seattle and Las Vegas. They got to fix what's going on in the NBA now before they expand.
Right.
I mean, if they expand, and if you believe that the expansion fee is going to be $8 billion per team, we'll just say, the Knicks and the Nets are going to get $533 plus million in expansion fees, and you don't have to share it with the players. It doesn't go to revenue share.
Goes right
to the owners.
I think I got my.
When I joined the Nets in 1981, the franchise was worth $6 million. Now the franchise is probably worth $8 billion.
Wild,
unreal.
That is wild.
But the NBA's got to fix this mess. I'm going to be honest with you guys.
So it looks like the tanking fines aren't working, right? They're still doing
well, again, yes. Let's go throughout if you go down and look at the draft every year, look at the top 5 and teams that tank. It doesn't work most of the time. Yes, Dallas got lucky. Cooper Flagg is going to be sensational. You got guys like that, but you got. I mean,
is Luka MVP
the Knicks drafted 3rd one year. Is R.J. Barrett a difference maker? He's a good player.
Good player, but as far as the number 1 option, I hate to say it, but that's a no.
Yeah.
Not even board. I mean, it's even a debatable second option too on a title contender.
I want to ask you about this because I keep seeing his name pop up a lot. And look, the James situation where he goes after this year, no one knows. But Luka Doncic continues to make the headlines every night. It seems like, is he our MVP for the year or what?
The NBA MVP will probably be SGA.
Yeah,
it's got to be the Alexander. I mean, what he's been able to, continue to do with the Thunder, and
they look like a repeat, possibility here. So,
but getting back to our original point, like 5 minutes ago, anything that you see in a regular season of the NBA, just toss it to the side. It's going to be totally different when the playoffs begin. We don't even know until maybe midway through the first round how it's going to play out a little bit. Yes, obviously, OKC is young, athletic, healthy. They play the best defense in the league. They have the MVP. They have the best situational players. So they're going to be favored. But
look, here in New York, we were all happy that Hartenstein won a chip with OKC, and he's still on that team, right? So
he's still with the Thunder. I mean, doing as well as ever.
So no, I mean it is kind of fun to watch him. Now, I don't even want to talk about the baseball side of things because I don't even want to talk about the World Baseball Classic. Like, it just all right. Well, we had
I had some notes for the World Baseball Classic,
but I want to get to the bigger.
It's your show, so you could.
I want to get to the bigger point, which seems to be buried under this WBC loss that everybody seems to be either mourning about, blaming Judge about, or
Well, it wasn't a good night for Aaron Judge, considering his postseason issues in the past. It wasn't a good night for Mark DeRosa. It wasn't a good night for the Major League Baseball teams that called up USA Baseball and said, "Don't." The Yankees say Bednar's unavailable, or the Padres say you can only use Mason Miller in a save situation because Bednar should have been in there in the 7th or 8th inning, and Mason Miller should have been in there in the 9th.
He should have. I mean, that was also the same thing too with Venezuela and Omar Lopez, their manager, also getting calls too from several major league teams, being like, "Hey, don't use our guys. Don't use our guys." Wow. See, I get not wanting to have your guys be injured in what could otherwise be a meaningless tournament. I mean, I experienced that firsthand with the Diaz stuff. All right. And the Mets season was ruined the second.
No, it was. There's no doubt about it. That
with
was
that knee injury.
Yeah, Alex knows how I was ticked off with that. It's a gimmick tournament. I mean, can you imagine the Edmonton Oilers calling up Team Canada and saying, "Don't play Connor McDavid," in the semifinals? Can you imagine that? Or the Devils calling up Team USA and saying, "Don't play Jack Hughes"?
That would have been ridiculous. But I'm glad you brought up hockey because we got to wrap up in a couple minutes.
Yep.
But under all this WBC stuff, USA sled hockey, and I was the one beating the drum for them because I felt no one else was, wins gold against who? Canada.
Yeah, no.
Repeat.
It's not been a good stretch. And
we took their sport, Louis. That's what we did.
Well,
we keep taking their sports. I mean,
right.
5 years in a row, 5 Olympics in a row, excuse me, that the kid Wallace who had that hat trick, or did he score? I don't know if they credited him with that fourth goal, that shorthanded goal. Mm-hmm. The kid who scored the empty net goal. I mean, I cannot believe from the set of that face-off in sled hockey how he tear-assed. Guys, I can't run that fast.
And I'm glad it was on NBC4 because, I hate to say it, but adaptive sports, people with disabilities are not always on the front page like that. So I was glad it was on NBC. But I want to ask you about this because you're both able-bodied. If you could, would you try sled hockey? It is a fun sport. I tried it once when I was little, but it never really panned out. So would you ever try it?
No, I definitely would, for sure.
Yeah,
I would
if I was your age or Ryan's age.
Look, I'm always down to try new things one way or another.
But like the adaptive sports, and then my buddy Patrick Hallgren medaling for the first time in the Paralympics for Team USA in an event. I mean, it was special to watch. And the fact I know Patrick personally, I was texting with him after he won his goal. I was like, this is unreal. I'm like, well,
that's great.
Happy, man. So,
well, that's the other thing. I'm watching a downhill skiing.
Mm-hmm.
I said, my God, these guys they're not only amazing athletes, but they're so courageous.
Mm-hmm.
It's
well, but that's funny you mention that because I always feel like people with disabilities compete just to compete. They don't even think about the look at us type of thing. It's very interesting.
No, I agree.
Like they don't think of it as. I always say in wheelchair basketball, everybody's in all that they put the ball in the hoop because like, oh my God, a guy in the wheelchair. Meanwhile, they're like, all right, well, now let's win. They don't just stop at putting the hoop and admiring it. They just keep playing. It's a different mindset, I guess. But that's why I love covering adaptive sports because, A, they need the coverage. B, they're just built. We're built differently as athletes.
Well,
and C, I always say, if you're disabled, I think having a competitive spirit helps you have one leg up on life. I really do because if you're disabled,
I agree.
It helps you smash stigma. So.
I totally agree.
But they beat Canada 3 times in a row in the Olympics in that same arena. I love it. I love what all 3 teams have done. Now the question is, can we get them down the Canyon of Heroes? I want all 3 teams having a parade in New York this summer. I would love that.
That would be great. I love that. Maybe I'd come back to 111 Broadway for a day and stand in front.
Well, maybe I'll try and convince Mom Donnie. I don't know, but anyway. It was a fun Olympics.
Before we go, can I say one thing?
Yeah, definitely.
We didn't do a podcast last week, but Matt Snell of the New York Jets, he died at 84 years old. You guys probably don't know who he is. He was one of the starting running backs along with Emerson Boozer on the Super Bowl team. He was a great Jet.
Really an all-time Jet.
An all-time Jet. He's in the Ring of Honor. And Joe Namath said he should have been the MVP. The Jets in scouting the Colts on tape saw that the right side of the Colts defensive line was weak, and they attacked it. And Snell had 121 yards on 30 carries. He scored basically the first time an AFL team took a lead in the Super Bowl on a 4-yard run. He helped kill the clock. He was a great Jet. He was the classic running back. He can block, he can catch, and he can run. So I just wanted to give him a shout out. He deserves it. He died at
And
84
Ryan, I
last
know
week.
you're a huge Jet fan, so I'm sure this loss impacted you because you saw it.
I saw it. I saw it. Another thing that was impactful for the Jets as they built their franchise and brand. The Jets drafted him #1 out of Ohio State. I think 3rd overall. The Giants also drafted him in the 3rd round. And for him to pick the Jets over the Giants at that time, it was only the 5th year of the Jets' history, was significant in them building their franchise and building their brand. And the next year they drafted Joe Namath #1. And then Boozer, George Sauer Jr., the guys. And but Matt Snell was a great Jet. He was a classic, complete football player. Just wanted to give him a little, he's been forgotten. I wanted to give him a little recognition.
I know we missed last week, so I'm glad you were able to talk about him. I mean, were your family Jet fans or Giant fans growing up?
Well, I mean, on my dad's side, he was definitely a Jet fan. Born through and through. Now, as far as my mom's side is concerned, I mean, she always grew up a 49ers fan, being that her maiden initials were SF, and she was a big Steve Young fan back then. Okay. So it all makes sense. But then her father, my grandfather, and it's funny because he would always flip back and forth between the Giants and the Jets. He was one of those New York fans where he would have set allegiances to the Giants if they were good. He would have set allegiances to the Jets if they were good. But he would always switch it up. And especially given the chaotic turmoil that was the 80s Jets with the New York Stock Exchange, that kind of falling apart in the late 80s. And, I mean, don't even get me started on those years in the mid-90s as well. I mean, it just made it fairly easy for him to pick the Giants and all that. Even then, I still wear his Giants hat from time to time, too. I actually wore it when I met Ahmad Bradshaw with this guy at Blue Haven East.
It's funny you say, well, it's interesting you talk about the running back position for the Jets because – in my view, it's always been who's going to be the next Joe Namath, right? The Jets have always had that shadow. Who's ever the quarterback has to be Joe Namath. They have to do that what he did in
exactly because I mean nobody else has come remotely close to that apart from maybe Chad Pennington, and I mean even then injuries just completely ruined his potential.
If Chad Pennington didn't have the back-to-back shoulder separation, the shoulder injuries, he would have been the second best Jet quarterback.
No question.
But now you look at the running back position in Matt Snell and Curtis Martin. I mean, growing up, I saw Curtis. I mean, look, the Jet running back position has been actually pretty prestigious over the years. And now Breece
Freeman
Hall,
McNeil.
And I'm just about for a second, but I want you guys to continue the conversation. With Breece Hall, though, what do they do with him, right? So they sign him, they franchise tag him. They're going to keep him, right? They're not going to trade him. What do you think they're going to do?
I think that he'll probably get a 3 or 4 year deal probably by July 15th by training camp.
Well, I hope he stays because I've always thought he's a centerpiece they could build around.
The only thing is, and I'm not big on drafting running backs in the top 5 or anything like that. Alex's buddy, Jeremiah Love, is so good that they might be tempted, like say at 16, if by some chance he's still there, which I doubt. Or say at 12, then maybe they'll trade. They'll take a couple of those second-round picks. And because this kid is so good. I'm telling you guys, I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants pick him at 5.
All right. Well, we started talking about March Madness. I want to end with March Madness. We don't usually get your prediction, Louis, but who do you have? I mean, it feels like you're thinking Duke, Michigan as well could be the tournament final at least, or what?
Everybody was saying Arizona, Arizona, Arizona. You know what? One of these years, teams that are always knocking on the door, knock through the door, knock the door down, that could be Houston.
Mm-hmm.
One of these years.
And they did it last year, too, so they could do it again.
Yeah, so it could be Houston knocking the door down. I liked Iowa State for a while. I'm just not sure they have the depth to go there, but
and for our New Jersey fans, by the way, I want to ask you this: what's Seton Hall's future? I mean, it was an interesting tournament last week. They got bounced by St. John's, but were they expected to make it to Friday? I feel like that was an achievement in and of itself.
I think they had a very positive year. Obviously, the big thing is our teams other schools going to go after Shaheen. I don't know. So so we'll see. But they had a successful year. Can they keep these guys? Can they keep Bud Clark and people like that? So we'll see.
Yeah, really just got to see what happens with the Pirates as far as that's concerned. Now, Alex obviously had to step out for just a second here, but I mean, it really just is a wait and see kind of thing. Now, granted, I don't really follow the Pirates as much as say the two of you, but I mean, it's definitely a big fork in the road for the program.
You
no
got to
question.
remember they went from winning 7 games last year to winning 21 games last year. It's a success. It was a widely successful season for them. It really was. The thing that killed them as far as being on the bubble, they were 0-7 against St. John's, UConn, and Villanova, and that's why they were off the bubble. That's that's the deal. So, but
Terminello's take. We'll be watching an eye here in HQ, the OneLegUpAlex Media, Pag's Perspective HQ. March Madness is here. I'm always excited around this time. But I know, right? But for you, for watching this all these years, any memories you have of the first couple of days? I mean, it feels like a day where anything can happen, doesn't it? About the first 2 days?
Well, remember, about 25 years ago, Gonzaga was the one that pulled off all these upsets. They were the ones that was Cinderella. They're no longer Cinderella. They're a basketball power. Then you have when Valparaiso beat Mississippi. I mean, we can go right down the line. You really could. But St. Peter's, and most recently St. Peter's and Fairleigh Dickinson. Fairleigh Dickinson, my alma mater. I grew up in Hudson County. I was born in Jersey City. To see St. Peter's get to one game short of playing in the Final Four is something that we won't see again.
All right, I just saw Ryan's lock stream about the Islanders. You know what's funny about Lou, right? I think it was the same night they lost to the Venezuela. You're like, well, at least the Islanders had a big win. So
exactly, yeah.
I mean, there is that.
Toronto.
And they'll probably be the only team in the playoffs this year in the Tri-State area.
I hope they get in. I hope the Islanders get in. They're on the right path. Matthew Schaefer in person is even more impressive than when you watch him on television. He played 29. I went last week. He played 29 minutes and 17 seconds. I mean, it's like he played half the game. He's so good. He really, it's unbelievable. I hope that they get in. I know they're not going to win the Stanley Cup. I just want them to get in. And
especially for the first year with Schaefer, that would be unbelievable. And probably one of the last years for Anders Lee, right? I mean,
he is on an expiring deal right now. Nobody really knows what's going to happen with him as far as 26, 27 in the future is concerned. I mean, he's always somebody you'd think could be a lifelong Islander, but that's all up in the air.
And speaking of last year's, we got to cover this before we go. My buddy, and I'm sure you know him well too, and you've heard him on the radio, Howie Rose, saying this is his last season. I mean, we knew it was going to be happening soon. I thought he'd give it another couple of years, but this is it.
Well, I saw you send me that post this morning. I couldn't when I was out. I couldn't open up on my phone. So that's what he announced that this is his last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's
the other day in awful announcing. He said that he said that he'll know when it's time to go. But it made it sound like he was going to be around for a couple of more years, and he's had major health problems. And it's a shame because he is a great baseball announcer. He is. He's a great baseball announcer. That's a loss.
A voice of my childhood.
And I mean, you're not going to be able to replace Howie in that radio booth. I mean, there's no question about that. There's no replacing Howie. I mean, really the next best thing you could do, at least if you're the Mets, you just try to recreate him to some extent. But, even then, and, Keith Rad, Pat McCarthy, if that's going to be the future booth duo moving forward, I'm sure they're going to do well there. But, they definitely are going to have their work.
Thank God he made that trip to Milwaukee, right? I mean, to call that Alonzo Homer was just one of the moments.
And as we said on this podcast, it will, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was an 11. It was an absolute. Everybody who wants to be a play-by-play broadcaster for baseball should listen to that call.
Absolutely.
That call was perfect.
That's how you do it.
And you know how much of what impact it was they listened to it on the plane ride back. I mean, they kept playing it over and over in the plane ride back.
Yeah.
So,
Howie's great. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, you can link him back to the great announcers, and this is, again, before your time, Lindsey Nelson, Ralph Kiner, and Bob Murphy. He's in that ilk.
And he went from Queens College to do that New York Sports Phone or something like that.
New York Sports Phone.
Sports Phone, yeah. Those are the
and then he went on to be in, Major League Baseball and NHL. I mean, and as a fellow alum of Queens College, it's just special to have that tie with him too. So, and my story, I've interviewed him.
I know you have.
Times. But also, I tell you, I think I told you this too. I was covering it for an event a couple of years ago for one of the media outlets here, the Queens Gazette. Covered a game, and Howie spent a good 20 minutes with me before first pitch shooting the breeze. And I'm like, he is a down-to-earth guy. Like, he wants everybody around him to grow and checks in on people, So I really appreciate that about him. So
one of my best friends,
decent guys.
One of my best friends worked for the Islanders for the last year and a half of his sports career, and he said Howie was such a good guy. When
he did that, when he ended the Islander run, I was kind of sad, but I'm kind of like, okay, well, I hope he keeps the Mets gig for a while. I think he quit the Islanders so he could do the Mets gig full time.
Well,
that's pretty much why.
He quit the Islanders after he started having those bladder issues, the cancer bladder issues. You can't go on. I mean, I think the Mets had to make an emergency landing, I think in Detroit, when he was, when he first got this attack or something like that.
Yeah,
so,
I do recall hearing about that.
Yeah. I mean, just hopefully that he's healthy. He'll be missed. Let's enjoy him this year. Let's hope the Mets, have a good year. I have no idea. I know we have to wrap up, but I have no idea what kind of season the Mets are going to have. I can't tell at this point.
Yeah, who knows? But, I'll just go back to what Howie was saying during his video announcing that the 2026 season would be his last. And he specifically ended it with the hope that come the fall, come October, November, that he could be the MC announcing the world champion Mets on the steps of City Hall. So if there's one message that all Mets fans are going to be getting behind for the 2026 season,
win it for Howie.
Let's win it for Howie, baby. Let's win it for Howie.
Pete Alonso should still be on the Mets, but that's a whole nother story. I'm sorry. I don't agree with David Stearns on that one.
Oh, it was a mess.
Not faulting anybody for that.
What can I tell you? And I'm watching Clark Kellogg at the halftime show. Of course, I pulled him on the radio with us back at 970 with Ted Sarandis over the years.
I remember. I actually was in the hospital visiting my late mom, and I was listening, and I said, "Wow, Clark Kellogg between halves, very impressive."
And then, and I also had Vin Parisi on to break the Mullen news during one of those years. So that was really quite a time.
I remember that. Yeah,
we had a lot of March Madness around here too.
We did.
Most certainly,
we definitely did. I played Ryan the call of Gary Cohen with the Gibbs in the Big East tournament. I mean, that call I'll never forget.
Yeah, I got here from a room over 2 times.
Yeah, that was our first year.
Yep. So we've had a lot of moments.
Yep, it was fun.
Hopefully getting back on radio. Who knows? One day, right, Louis?
Absolutely. Never say never. That's not going to happen again. Keep trying.
All right. Terminello's Take. Always a pleasure having you on the air with us.
I love being on with you guys. I really
OneLegUpAlex Media, PAG's Perspective. You can listen to Ryan's bracket breakdown, right? You posted that earlier today. So
yeah, it just went up right before the first game of March Madness between TCU and Ohio. Had to get those bracket predictions out there one way or another. And just manifesting a Hofstra Sweet 16 run, book it. Among other things, of course.
I hope so.
All right. Louis Terminello, Ryan Pagano, Alex Garrett, OneLegUpAlex Media. Thanks for joining us today here at Terminello's Take.
Thanks, guys. You guys are great.
Be on. Go Pride.